Yeah, this is Point Blank. Coming in hard and off the car. Coming with the flow straight from the barrio. And coming with the heat from the damn street. This is PBNN Point Blank National News. The late and the great edition and the ghetto edition as well. As we see. You know what I'm saying? As we see, straightening up a few things here, people, trying to get, you know what I'm saying, this little vision going. You know what I'm saying? As we see, we guys, you know what I'm saying, a lot to look at today in more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. We got a lot to look at today. So we going to just take a look at many things that's being said on the news as well as talking about the strength of people in these situations, you know what I'm saying, where they're using their overstanding of their so-called leadership on our people and around the world for many years, and know that they have been doing it. You know what I'm saying? And people have been allowing it because that's the type of mind frame that you have. It's the same thing when you look at bullying. Bullying is the same thing because they feel that they have the right to do that by somehow, but to make it legitimized, they have to use different intricate such as religion, government, and all types of shit to justify the garbage that they do. You know what I'm saying? But the people have to have more strength than that, than to be suckered in to a situation where over many years you are being fed this superiority complex of you being superior. There is nothing superior about a white man. And there's nothing now in more ways than one other than what a black man is, you know what I'm saying? But it's not superior. It's reality. You know what I'm saying? That overrules that bullshit in all ways. It's reality. So you see, they don't deal with reality. You know what I'm saying? They don't deal with reality. This is why black people at many different venues, you know what I'm saying, of religion, you know what I'm saying, have problem explaining the truth as it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Even when you look at many people who are offering religion or they're offering some type of sanctuary or some type of protection from what is going on in the governmental world, or you're just offering some spirituality to a God in which you have never seen, and you have never spoken to, you have never even come in contact with, you will never, you know what I'm saying? Because the only God that you're going to see is your mother. So at the same time, when we look at this, we see a lot of different religions, a lot of different Black Power movement groups spring up all over the place, and many of them, only offering some type of spirituality, saying nonsense, if you ask me. They're not offering any solution based on solving today's problem other than pulling and speaking and doing this to get people to follow them and become a member of their group. This is still a box. You see what I'm saying? This is still a box and a book. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to have a written book with a right angle. You know what I'm saying? It's still a box and it's still a book because they're not offering you a solution other than maybe some form of religious, or I would say fanatical, you know what I'm saying, or some type of religious spirituality in its group form that has some strength in numbers, I should say. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it still doesn't lead to the many solutions that our people needs on this planet Earth and people as a whole all over the world. The healing has been not administered in its rightful ways because they do not deal with reality. What they deal with is brutality. You know what I'm saying? Con games, scheming, killing, murdering, under the table, all types of different criminal shit that you wouldn't believe. Like I said, if you see it, probably would make you puke. But at the same time, they don't show that. You know what I'm saying? You have many different groups who's out there on the streets preaching and carrying on and so on. But what are you truly offering the people, you know what I'm saying, in your solution to the problems that we are facing? Other than still presenting a contradiction or a conviction of guiltiness and exposing the trickery of the beastliness, you know what I'm saying, in pushing people into a fair corner and then figuring that you're the only solution. This game is over. People must start to make up their decision and, as we know, do their research as they're doing right now. This is highly important that we do so. You know what I'm saying? But we're looking here at politics, I should say, coming off the New York Post. You know what I'm saying? Coming in by John Faso or whatever 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying? And they're saying it's now up to New York top court to nick the demon Democrats' latest bid to rig elections. Oh yeah, they've been trying to rig elections and have been rigging elections for many, many, many years. You know what I'm saying? This is how they got to get 47 years of straight rule to do the straight Luciferian missional garbage. You know what I'm saying? But we're looking at here in the acceptability quest for more political power. Yeah, okay. Like they don't have that already when we look at what they're doing around the world. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. But we see here where, you know what I'm saying, they're looking for more political power. The demon Democrats are savoring Thursday appellate court decision, you know what I'm saying, the appellate court decision ordering a do-over for congressional redistricting. You know what I'm saying? If New York courts are so sustained, if the New York courts are to sustain a shred of institutional dignity, that decision must be overturned in the courts of appeals. You know what I'm saying? When it hears the case this fall. The demon Democrats claim the COAS, whatever, -S, ruling last year, you know what I'm saying, that the demon Democrats' gerrymandering of state congressional districts were unconstitutional, only applied in 2022. They argue that the Independent Redistricting Commission should be ordered back to work to recraft the state's 26 congressional districts as well. Unsurprisingly, the Rep. Hakeem Jeffries pulls out the race card. Of course, like I told you, who would be listening to Hakeem Nutcase Jeffries? You're continuing to listen to these fools. He ain't no more than probably one of them Black Caucus dummies or some kind of dude that think that he has the minds of the people by pulling out every time things. The same thing Cuba Greasy Head Adams did. You know what I'm saying? But he pulls out the race card, contending that the district craft by an outside experts after the court rejected the legislation after they rejected the legislature plans do not reflect the racial, ethnic, culture, regional, and socio-economic diversity of the state. You know what I'm saying? No, you're lying, Mr. Jeffers. What it does is you need to get your bald-headed ass up out of our government, though. The appellate majority opinion laughably argued that returning returning this process to the Demon Democrat majority in the legislature will ensure transparency and more public participant. He's lying again. Nonsense. Turning this process over to lawmakers, creates just another chance for the Demon Democrats to win seats via backroom in D.C. and Albany. It has nothing to do with transparency or the desire of the public. And Hakeem Jeffries, no, he ain't no more than a seller. I told y'all that before. He's a Demon Democrat, sucker punch, ass, mixed breed, I don't know what he is, clown. Just, same as we see with Kamala. As the dissenters to the Thursday ruling point out, the case, brought by, Demon Democrats has several fatal flaws. Oh, yes, of course, when trickery is in the game, of course. They had 4 months from when the commission process broke down last year to bring their case. They missed that deadline. Yeah, of course. On Thursday, the decision held that since, legislature passed a separate law giving their body, discretion or whatever to pass its own redistricting plan. See what I'm saying? See the trickery? Their own redistricting plans. If the commission failed to do so, this case was brought on time, except for one problem. The Court of Appeals last year found that law unconstitutional since it attempts to change the constitutional provision with a mere statute. That is right. That is 100% right by the court or whoever said that. The Court of Appeals can make short work of this case on that basis alone. The second state constitution contains explicit provision against the mid-decade redistricting, and the only remedy when the legislature fails to act is a court order plan that lasts a decade. It lasts a decade, I guess. But the Demon Democrats argued last year that if they lost, the court should send the issue back to the legislature for con games and bullshit there. The crooked ass. And that repair and that course was rejected by the courts. That's right. Perfect. The courts argued, the arguments are one thing, but the reality of what Demon Democrats are attempting is something else. This case is a blatant power grab by state and national Demon Democratic blood-sucking idiot behinds as we see it. Unhappy that they were caught red-handed last year trying to rig districts in their favor, they're now back again with a phony argument about transparency. Yeah, don't they always say that? Don't Demon Democrats always say transparency and unfairness? But meanwhile, when you look at it, they don't give any transparency or none of that. How many people knew about the Ukraine situation with Russia? How many of them knew anything fully about what truly took place unless they were doing some studying and looking into it? In fact, the gerrymandering they passed last year, would have, resulted in just 4 Republicans being elected in Congress. Imagine that with their shitty ass. You know what I'm saying? New York has the most, you know what I'm saying, competitive congressional seats in the nation. And those seats remain up for grabs, and the Republicans need to eat them up next year. You know what I'm saying? The redrawing the district now would create real uncertainty, would create real uncertainty or whatever for candidates and mass confusion for the public. Of course, that's what they love. They're not taking it like chaos. Certainly, both parties across the national, certainly most parties across the nation attempts to gain political advantage in the redistricting process, which I think is one of the stupidest processes we do have. You know what I'm saying? That's why New York voters in 2014 adopted strict prohibition, you know what I'm saying, against, you know what I'm saying, prohibition against political gerrymandering, and created a precise process for now district lines were to be drawn. You know what I'm saying? But the Democrats is not going to allow that, because they know full well that if they do, you know what I'm saying, they could easily be challenged. They don't like to be challenged. They like to come in and just swoop and go and have full control of everything else running down the line. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. They don't like to be challenged, and this is what they're going to do, because they have to stay in power in order to achieve these evil objectives that we see have been going on planet Earth for quite a long time. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying, they're doing anything in the favor of the people. It's in the favor of their democracy, which they call democracy. You know what I'm saying? That's spelled the same as Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Because when they talk about democracy and democracy, they're not sometimes talking about what you think they're talking about. They're talking about a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? This is why they was talking about going around the world and spreading democracy, I mean. You see what I'm saying? Because that gives them the right of saying the same as, you know, America goes over there and con off the demon Democrat president in El Salvador, and he down with them now, and now he doing shit to his people. You know what I'm saying? Because he's listening to them and, you know, getting paid by them to bring in the bullshit, as we see. But we see Mayor Q-Ball Greasyhead Adams say he's a symbol of black manhood in epic rant. No, you are not. You are a symbol of black stupidity at its full bloom. You are a pinnacle of black sellout in all ways. You are a jackass in all ways. What are you, African, from the African continent as we are? You know what I'm saying? We're coming over here and been over here for a long time with your bourgeois lips and greasy head, bald head, doing stupid shit in the police department. You probably did a lot of criminal shit. If we dig into your background, I wonder what we'll find. But this is coming in by Rich Kaldor, you know what I'm saying, one day ago, coming off the New York Post. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? But we see Greasyhead Q-Ball Adams declared himself the symbol of black manhood. No, he is not. And he's word playing and motherfucking lying. In this city, in this country, during a speech last week at a Brooklyn church, where he again defends his ostracized reactions to a 84-year-old Holocaust survivor who dared to question him at a community forum, which was, I guess, that lady that dropped the bomb on his greasy head ass. You know what I'm saying? But his zoner, you know what I'm saying, comments came Sunday at the church culture center in, it looked like Starrett City, you know what I'm saying, Starrett City, as he, you know, continued to allude to his June 28th exchange with housing rights advocate, Jenny, uh, I guess the name is what? Dom, Domna, or whatever, Domna, or whatever, who he compared to a plantation owner, yeah, pulling out the black card. And he's very sour at it. You know what I'm saying? He needs to stop doing it because it's exposing him for the garbage in which he is. And anybody with an intelligent mind can clearly see that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why he keeps doing that. You know what I'm saying? Talking about a plantation owner at the town meeting after she disrespected him by, griping about new rent increase for rent subsidized apartments in the city. So how in the world, now whether or not she was a Holocaust survivor or not, this don't have anything to do solely with only her. This has to do with black people as well, because if you're raising a rent on them and other people, all the cultures, and not even that, it's as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So those that paying more, that live in the more upper rising areas and stuff like that, are going to pay more if he's raising the rent. But those that are living in so on and not on subsidies, Section 8 or none of that, we got to make sure that all of us as black people should have had that anyway. You know what I'm saying? All black people should have been eligible for Section 8 and the help of the government based on what they have done to our people. You know what I'm saying? Because you did it by force. You know what I'm saying? And so on. But at the same time, you should be giving it up because you brought us here and those that were here and all the black people. You discriminate and economically disenfranchise as best as you can, even using the Ku Klux Klan in 1865, created by the Demon Democrats. You know what I'm saying? And you use them with Forrest Nathan Bradford leading your motherfucking crusade. You know what I'm saying? But every time he's sitting up here talking about a plantation owner, just because she's talking about subsidized rent. No, she has a right to speak up for the rental situation here in New York, because it's outrageous as to what you are doing. You are trying to provide and drive the people out of New York, of this demon democratic state, to make sure that the Republican mind frame doesn't survive and you rule forever. But at the same time, you are destroying New York with this high price rent, even Long Island, $3,000-$4,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment. You know what I'm saying? This is not Beverly Hills or some rich Park Avenue place. This is Long Island where people live and have to survive, and you're basing it on this bullshit and allowing a rent increase. So now people paying 4 and 5. Of course, because he's working for the Demon Democrats to fuck up the American people while he's bringing the Mexicans. They party in hotels and have all the chips and the dips, you know what I'm saying, and the drugs and all of this, and 12-year-old girls or whatever, and all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a part of that chaotic behavior and mind frame that you see has abounded and ailed our government for many years. You know what I'm saying? And many, many years. Like I said, going back to James Polk and all them different clowns and Andrew Jackson, all of them doing this garbage. You know what I'm saying? And it was acceptable because the mind frame of the people were driven to believe that they were superior over people. You use a gun in order to enslave and call them inferior. Yeah. But if you didn't have the gun and the bullet and all that bullshit that you brought on the people, you know what I'm saying? And the people was not about that type of life. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot of con artist Negroes over there in Africa, even probably facilitating and helping to work with the Arabs to enslave their own people, just because they have changed religion in their mind frame. You know what I'm saying? But Adams did not mention Duna or whatever, Domna, by name. But it appears he was talking about their exchange when he brought up the story. He brought up the story. He's repeatedly told about how his late mother, Dorothy, who cleaned houses for a living, would repeatedly get would repeatedly get fired for snapping back at disrespectful employers, you know what I'm saying? But that's something that we all go through with employees because you don't own the business. That's the first thing you have to understand, and it's very difficult when you have a racist mind frame that's going on based on superiority and their religious ideology and the bullshit that they have done on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? So, but this still does not bear off the case of what we're talking about when we talk about an increase in rent.